Hi, and good evening, everyone. My name is Albert, and this is Vlogs About Nothing. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your very busy night to join me. I really do appreciate that. Tonight, I want to talk about, the Doom Scroll, okay? That's what I wanted to talk about, was the Doom Scroll, you feel me? And how I think FYP often is an echo chamber, and more importantly, not just like addressing that, but talking about how you can avoid falling into these pitfalls, you feel me? Just because, like, if you're anything like me, and you don't gotta be, because I'm a pretty interesting guy, you know what I mean? It's just sort of like, I don't like the same thing, It's probably why I've never been committed to any single woman, and or why I don't have a girlfriend, right? Why I am unemployed, why I only like to be a dishwasher, why I am a literal, at the moment, I guess, unemployed actor. Yeah, because that would make sense, because I just said I was unemployed, and I guess technically that is true. It's a true thing, as in, like, it's technically true. I'm not working right now. And so, that's what I'll say about that, but it's just sort of like, I don't like the same thing. Again, I just got through saying that, you feel me? But, like, moreover, it's just kind of drives me crazy, you know what I mean? Like, and I fall victim to this. I truly do. I mean, I've been listening to the same 300 songs on rotation, for the last 20 years. I mean, and this is to the detriment of, like, my own self, you know what I mean? Just because, like, it's not like other music doesn't exist or that my FYP isn't doing what it needs to do on that LLM dialogue, and recommend things to me that it thinks that I would like based on things that I have listened to. But it's sort of like recycled nonsense in that, at least with my FYP, it just sort of regurgitates old songs that I've already listened to that I haven't listened to in a long time, but it knows that I like based on what I'm currently listening to. And I don't know how that does me any justice, just because I take pride in just thinking that I consume all different kinds of music, right? Like, I grew up in a household full of country and rock and roll and Spanish music, and for example, rap was something that was definitely not welcome in my household. Although now, 20 years later, even my parents listen to Drake. So, I'm just saying that times change, and people's music changes, their preferences and so forth. But, like, how can it possibly be that, we're often kind of just in that echo chamber, just sort of shouting the same things and hearing the same things back in return. It's kind of, I think, what an echo chamber is. We're just talking about metaphors and analogies, my roommate and I. So that was inspired by a wonderful episode of Corner Gas, which is this really cool show that's free right here on YouTube. All right, so you can find a plethora of awesome free content right here on YouTube. There's no reason to go into any other place. I'm just saying. Anyways, what a shameless, soulless, heartless plug for the platform that's owned by the very same people who are endorsing guys like Larry Allison, and Sam Altman, and those varying degrees of sociopaths and psychopaths that we somehow admire and think that we would like to be like, I mean, I'd also like to be the billionaire who claims to make all of my money off of just, the sweat on the brim of my hat, you feel me? And all while saying that I wouldn't mind a government intervention, Again, just a friendly reminder that corporate welfare and corporate socialism is akin to, like, committing a crime that is only allowed to be committed by those that have power, so that the rest of us are debating the ethical ramifications of, not wanting to commit that crime and so forth. But we give that permission to these people, and that's all that I'm saying, right? But So, shout out to YouTube, I guess. What a wonderful way to come out from a shameless little free plug. Anyways, I love YouTube for the record, and maybe obviously not so much so the other guys that I just mentioned, you know. So, all I'm saying again is that anytime your algorithm or your FYP or like you get recommendations. I mean, this used to happen, and I hated it originally when Netflix came out, right? This was like 15 years ago, and a long ass time ago, you feel me? And, anyways, it was sort of like not a good thing then, and it sort of hasn't got any better in a way that I'm looking for new shit, you feel me? Like, I'm looking for new music that I don't even know if I'd like. So how in the hell would the algorithm know like what I may or may not like based on the idea that I don't even know what I may or may not like, So that's a tough thing for AI to grapple with. However, it's a problem that could easily be solved if, for example, your phone could read your mind. It sounds outlandish, but who knows? It might just be true. But I guess that's something we'll talk about in 30 years from now. So we'll save that conversation. I'm just thinking out loud. That would be a way to circumvent lots of free will choices, in that I guess it would just all be a gamble at that point, based on whatever it was I was thinking about at that moment. But again, it's hard to assess what a sentient person may or may not like. Again, just because there's been times where, like, I was watching a video just about an hour ago and it featured this awesome, if there were a colloquial equivalent to the term unk, this chick is like an auntie. You feel me? Like an auntie. Like, she's got like some love on that auntie just because she is a 60-year-old woman in China who is dropping some bangers, all because, she's upset that the local fish market smells like ass. All I'm saying is that that's creative. That's a cool thing, it's something I would never, not in a million years, have discovered unless, like, I went out of my way to manually type in some letters into my search bar, and then now, I guess, for all intents and purposes, it's been official, to my algorithm that, like, I may, like that kind of stuff, but then it throws me all this other weird stuff that I don't necessarily like just because I like Auntie's rap, you feel me? Link in the description below. It's just very similar to the, Ew Brother Ew, which, shout out to, all the people that know what I'm talking about this past summer who had to endure this middle-aged man listening constantly to, Brother Ooh, the remix. I'll put that link in the description below too, just because it low-key is a banger. And anyways, yeah, so there's just a lot of things in the world, moreover, that I think I might like, that I may not even know exist, just because the algorithm's taking that safe bet, and just assuming that my dumbass is going to like the same things in all perpetuity, forever, like for infinity and beyond. And I'm just thinking to myself, that's not entirely true. I mean, what are you trying to make out of me? Like the same boring, I'm trying to grow, I'm trying to diversify, I'm trying to experience all different types of shit in my life. You feel me? Again, going back to that whole unwilling to stay committed to essentially anything in my life other than, larger ideas that I have had since I was, young enough to remember. It's just, I don't think that the algorithms are doing us all that much of a great help unless, like, we're running a business, you feel me? Unless it's, like, linear in a way that is not only predictable, but, like, consenting and wanted. What happens if you don't want that, right? But also, what happens if you don't want what you don't want, but only after finding out that you didn't want it? You see what I'm saying? Like, you gotta experience it first to know that you don't want it. I mean, not all things, I guess, are like this. There's some things I think I don't have to experience for me to know that they're just freaking terrible, I'm just saying, right? Like, but that's common sense, And if you don't have that, well then, my dude, you're not even, like, I mean, just Jesus. There's so many more things that we need to work on before we progress moving forward, you know? And so, yeah, it's just kind of sucks. Also, anytime you hear of like somebody, this is the best way I found new music too, is like out in the real world, you know, somebody may or may not be talking about something they like or a subgenre of music, you feel me? And then like the best thing, and I also simultaneously the worst thing to do, is to hand over your phone when you're signed in on your account. And I'll speak specifically for YouTube because that's how I know it works. The way that I know a girl has been on my phone is I'll hop onto my YouTube, you know, and all of a sudden there's like recommendations from artists I've never heard, and you know, they're like, and honestly, a part of me kind of likes that. Thank you. All of the several strange women who have borrowed my phone at various times to no end, you know, I'm just kind of using it on up, and all in that while putting on playlists that now I have, you know, some on mine, like I'm like, oh, that song wasn't bad, or I'm kind of like, that was really, you know, not necessary. Why did she like that video? And why did she subscribe to that channel, you know? Like, Jesus Christ. There's a really funny joke on Superstore to wrap this up where Jonah was talking to Amy about sharing his Spotify list. And again, it seemed a little more like Gen Z bait, you know, than anything, Gen Alpha bait or whatever, but it was sort of just like, I don't like that either. Like, that's a problem. Ladies, future wife out there, you know, you're more than welcome to look at anything and everything I got on my phone. Avi, you have done this before, and I am not to say anything other than now I know, and now it's cool. Anyways, when you do that, just make sure to not subscribe to like every song from every artist from every song they've created that you like, just because it floods my FYP with things that I don't necessarily like, and I'm not really even interested in giving the chance to like, just because of the source or whatever. And I know that makes me an asshole, but it's just sort of still like, I want to find this music out on my own. You know, I can't think of all of the times in my life where I have selfishly, you know, just kind of denied myself the privilege of hearing a cool song just so that I could go back later on and be like, oh yeah, babe, that song, this is a cool artist. And then they're like, yeah, I was trying to show you this song earlier. And I'm like, whatever, I found this song on my own. Alright, so, hey guys, I really appreciate y'all watching my videos. We're like 13 minutes in. That was a interesting talk I think we just had, or that I had to myself, that I've recorded and, you know, put and sent down out to y'all. And it's something that, like, I literally deal with every day because I have no life, and I enjoy it like this. And it doesn't matter what I have going on in my life. I am a fervent private person, right? And that, like, I just thoroughly enjoy doing nothing, you know, but by myself. Does that make me a bad person? I don't know. Does it make me weird? Probably a little bit, you know, just because outside I'm a pretty sociable guy, you know. It's just when I'm home and I'm doing things that aren't so in need of all kinds of energy, you know, and social ability, then I'm kind of just like chilling and listening to music and watching different movies and stuff. And I feel like I often get caught up in this doom scroll loop, you feel me? And it's something I wanted to talk about just because I know that there's new music being made, you know, like, even I'm not that stupid. I know there's new movies and stuff being produced, but, like, and how many times in my life have I seen a movie, you know, and just been, like, totally about it, but not knowing that I would have even ever given it a chance just because I wouldn't have, you know. And so, yeah, that's interesting. I like talking about things that are like that, you know, and most of the time we only talk about things that obviously I'm reminded of, you know, and that's a big part of it too. And that's why I try not to do anything, and I try to just be like a student in life, you know, and observe, and then kind of just report what I observe and so forth, and offer solutions to the things that I'm able to observe, because I have no life, and I spend so much time thinking about all of these different things, and so I think it works itself out. But it's interesting because I know I'm not the only person having these same sorts of like doubts, you know, in terms of just like I think the internet in and of itself and LLMs and you know AI and stuff or whatever. I think it's all good and well until it's not, obviously, and in times where it's not, it's just it's not as diverse as you'd think it would be, right? And it's interesting because it's a problem I don't think can be solved. There's a little hesitation on behalf of our part as sentient humans and knowing what we like and what we probably won't already like, you feel me? And so I just, I'm interested to see how this progresses moving forward. I mean, obviously, there are a lot of different ways this can work out, but it's fun to talk about. It's fun to talk about all these different things, and I noticed that the subscriber count was dropping there for a little bit, so we're gonna have to go on a subscriber binge or something. That doesn't make sense, but you know what I mean. I mean, I'm gonna really push for subscribers this week, and we'll see how that works out for us. But I do a lot of that IRL, you know. So when the sub count starts to drop, I'm just sort of like, oh well, you know. I guess my buddy that was my friend at work, you know, probably saw a video they didn't like, and so much as I'd like to apologize for that, I'm definitely not going to, because again, you know, that's why I have one friend, you know, 3 if you include my cats. I'm just saying that, like, it's not, I tell people, you know, sidebar, like, in real life that I am, like, a socialist and I do all these things, right, but it's, like, one thing to say that and tell a person, and to even in some instances give them things just so that they can subscribe to my channel, only to unsubscribe from my channel when, like, you know, I'm not around or whatever. It's all good, but I know, talking about a lot here, but that's what's been on my mind, right, is the idea that consistency is key. We've talked about this before, and anytime on YouTube where I start to drop my videos, like, at different times or whatever, and I'm often the own guinea pig of my own little experiment that I got going on in my life. You know, who better than myself? I consent, so long as I'm the one doing the experiments, you know? That's all that I ask. But it's interesting because, you know, again, just like anything else in life, if you focus and you do it at a single time or whatever, it's better and it works out almost every time. But if you start mixing it up and you start dropping videos at different times during the day, you feel me, then it starts to you know, do the opposite of help. Starts to become harmful in a way that, like, you lose subscribers and people lose engagement, you know, and they lose that sort of very short attention span that we all have, that I'm so happy to have with you guys, you know what I mean? Just because, again, I am not lying. I am the dude here watching YouTube videos all freaking day long, you know. And this is not a new thing. This is something that's been going on for well over a couple decades now. So yeah, that's all that we got to talk about. I think I might make another video. I'm not sure, but check out all the links in the description tonight. You know, even if I got to go back and add them after I upload the video, which is what I do. You know, in case you watch the videos when I first upload them and you don't see any links, then, I mean, it's like a 50-50 thing. Most of the time I do it, sometimes I don't. It's about half. I try to always do it. When I say I'm going to do it more than once, I remember, and then I get to it a lot faster. So that's why I say it multiple times. But I hope that you guys are well, and that you have a great night, and, you know, we're just putting in work now at this point, and that's all that I've been doing. I mean, it's been pretty clear, I think. So we'll get back to some real serious, disciplined, and focused content here soon enough. You know, I mean, we're not really in a rush to do anything. I mean, there's not really much we can do right now. So until then, we'll sort of sit back and, you know, do this. You know, I mean, what else is there to do? So I hope that you guys have a really good night. Thanks for watching my show, and we'll talk to you real soon. All right? Bye.